Welcome to another episode of the PHIN Outta Football Podcast. And I got my brother from another Rod Man in the building. This is the first official episode of the offseason on our new time slot, Mondays at 8:15. That is going to be the time that we're going forward with, guys. So everybody who supports us, everybody who follows us, I know it's all over the place and stuff like that, but this is going to be the consistent time frame for the rest of the offseason. Now, when the season starts, it may change. We might go back to Sundays. But as far as the offseason goes, it will be on Mondays, man. But we got a packed show. We got a lot to discuss. We have combine talk. We have Jimmy Johnson retiring. We have some mock drafts. We have franchise tags. And just the Deebo Samuel trade, bro. Like, there is an influx of stuff that's going on in sports that is helping us have stuff to talk about because thank God, guys, being content creators when you don't have content absolutely sucks. I'm not going to lie. We are scrapping at the barrel, but thank God the football guys gave us something to talk about. But before we get into all the actual football discussions, there is something I did want to talk about. There was a huge fight over the weekend. Everybody's been talking about it, and I have a bunch of thoughts. I went out, you feel me? I got the entire experience. So I want to talk about my experience going watching the Javonte Tank Davis fight when he fought Lamont Roach, and something that clicked. And I want to go ahead and talk about it because it's going to give me the opportunity to bring home something and something I've been thinking about a long time, Rod, in regards to boxing versus other sports, right? So let's get started right with it, right? Let me take you back to my Saturday. It's Saturday night. I said, you know what? I'm doing something that I want to do that I used to do, which is go outside to watch the fight. Like, the thing about boxing, other than the Super Bowl, it brings people out. People come outside for a great boxing match, and I miss that. Like, I remember watching Floyd and watching a Mike Tyson. Like, when those guys fought, the whole city came out. And the bar I was at, the whole city came out, Rod. That thing was
Where you
packed.
went?
I went to my cousin's bar. He got a bar over there in the hood, you feel me? So it was packed, right?
It was on swole.
It was on swole. So let me get right into it, you feel me? Because I don't want to take too long in regards to that, right? But my thoughts on the fight, Lamont Roach won. That's how I feel. Like, he won. He got robbed. By my personal, just the way I view boxing, he beat Javonte Tank Davis. And by the CompuBox numbers, he beat
with or without a knockdown, too.
With or without a knockdown. Forget the knockdown. Like, you don't even need the knockdown, and he won.
Don't.
He won. And I had it 8-4. I thought he won 8 rounds comfortably. Most people had it 7-5, which is a round off, which is close to what I had. But me as a boxing fan, what I saw, there's no way you can tell me that Javonte Tank Davis won five of the first 6 rounds. That's nonsense. He didn't throw anything. They were, even with the CompuBox numbers that, quote unquote, counts what lands and what does not land, they were very generous to Javonte Tank Davis. He was catching leather. He was catching elbows. He was catching arms. He was not really catching clean until the 6th round. He won the 6th round 100%. He won the 6th. He won the 7th. You could make a debate the 5th, and then he lost the last 3 rounds. So I don't think it was a close fight, in my opinion. Like, people confuse competitive with close. It was a competitive fight, but there was a clear winner in the competition. So regardless of the knee, regardless of what happened, and it doesn't really matter. Like, it's been a couple days, the dust is settled. But the reason why I want to have that conversation on this, which is a football podcast, is because you're not going to get a robbery in football. The scoreboard is a scoreboard. You can't change the scoreboard. Like, 31-6 is 31-6. 40-6 is 40-6, i.e. Kansas City Chiefs and Eagles. Y'all not getting that bullshit ass 40-22. We already said that. But the scoreboard is the scoreboard. You can't fake it. Like, you could complain about a bad call here and there, but there's 4 quarters to decide a loser or a winner. There's no referees that's going to tell you that you won. There's no independent judges that could be corrupt and bought that's going to say this person won. There's no politics in it. There's no people that are incentivized to give somebody a win that they don't deserve to have in football. In the NFL, you 9 times out of 10 win it on the football field. Really 10 out of 10. But I'm going to be fair to the one-off situations where you might have a terrible call or a blown this or that. But there's so many plays that go into a football game that 9.9 times out of 10, the better team is going to win that football game, bro. And I think that's why football has become this monster, this behemoth that it is. Because at the end of the day, you're never really going to leave with a sour taste in your mouth. Even if you are a fan of a team and you're mad that your favorite team lost, deep down, you know your favorite team lost. Like, what is there to really get mad about? How can you get mad at the final score? Like, Lamont Roach said it in the press conference. He said in the 11th round, him and Tank were talking and going back and forth, and he said Tank told him verbatim, you know they're not going to give it to you, right? like, that's nuts. That's crazy to think about, Rod.
But you know what, though, Herb? Like, anyone who's been watching boxing for a long time, and just a little background for me, when I was a teenager, like in my teenage years, boxing was my favorite sport. It's not my favorite sport anymore. Football has eclipsed it. And a part of the reason, Herbie, why I kind of fell out of love with boxing was because of all the politics, because of all the, the corruption. The thing about boxing, and to the point that you're making, Herbie, at the end of the day, no matter how you feel about boxing, if you don't knock a guy out, you're at the mercy of the judges. Mm-hmm. You are at the mercy of the judges. Now, you could argue, Herbie, that in football and in basketball and in team sports and sports that have refs, you can say you're at the mercy of the refs, but it's not to the same degree. Like, the judges decide who wins, Herbie. And it's often been known in boxing that if you don't knock out the champ, Herbie, if you don't finish him, fatality, bro, at the end of the day, they're more than likely going to award the champion the belt, whether they give it a draw because they know the belt won't change hands, or whether they just outright say, okay, he wins in a split decision. So, it's unfortunate, Herbie. And I had it, like, when I graded the fight, I had it 7-5, like how you said. I thought it was a pretty good fight, but to me, Lamont Roach was the clear aggressor. He was effective in his aggression, unlike other guys who Tank was able to take advantage of, i.e. Ryan Garcia, right?
Or Frank Martin.
Exactly. And then when you look at it, the one thing I can say about Lamont Roach, Herbie, and he wasn't someone, like I said, I don't keep up with boxing like I used to. But, what I noticed was he was very prepared for Tank, Herbie. Like, Tank was well studied because he had some nice counters in this fucking fight. Like, he had control of the fight, to me, from start to finish. Yeah. But at the end of the day, Herbie, you're at the mercy of the judges. And that's the unfortunate part about boxing. If you don't knock the guy out, if everybody don't see you put him on his back, you just gotta pray.
And that's part of the reason why I gravitated towards football, why football became my favorite sport, your favorite sport, why we have a whole podcast dedicated to the sport that we love. Because at the end of the day, there's solace knowing that scoreboard, like, I know at the end of the day, my Cowboys are going to lose because they suck. There's solace in that scoreboard. Like, I can't say, oh, nah, there's that. No, bro, the scoreboard said they lost 30-20, bro. There's no if and buts about it. You gave up 30 points. You only scored 20. That's it. In boxing, no, like, you can have a situation where you have a Pernell Whitaker who loses to a Cesar Chavez in one of the greatest robberies of all time. You have a situation where arguably the finest performance of Floyd Mayweather's career against Canelo Alvarez, there was a judge that said Canelo Alvarez won. Floyd Mayweather won that as a split decision, by the way. People don't know that. Like, it's the most one-sided ass whooping in recent memory, and he won as a split decision. Everybody was like, huh? What? People were confused Because that's how boxing is. There's so much money in this. There's so much people that's invested. Gervonta Tank Davis was a minus 1,600 favorite. Vegas was not going to let that man lose under any circumstances. Vegas was not paying out that. Them tickets was not getting, there was going to be no green checks on none of those tickets, bro. That shit was getting stopped nipped in the bud. Y'all think y'all finna pay out a minus 1,600 on an upset? You crazy? Nah, bro. So I get
Lamar
it.
had to knock him out, man. Lamar had to knock him out. And
the
and
NFL. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say to your point, Herbie. Boxing is a sport with a history of very questionable decisions. I have some here, Herbie. Manny Pac-Man versus Timothy Bradley the first time around.
Nuts.
You gonna tell me Tim won that fight?
Crazy.
Like you said, you know what I'm saying? You already said Julio Cesar Chavez and Pernell Whitaker. What about Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield the first time? You know what I'm saying? What about Oscar De La Hoya and Phoenix Trinidad? What about like Herbie?
That was nasty. That one was nasty.
Like that, you know what I'm saying? You could go as far back as Marvin Hagler and Sugar Ray Leonard. Like boxing has a history of people getting to the end of the fight and feeling dissatisfied. And Herbie, to watch a fight like that, which was an entertaining fight, I don't think it was like
for sure. It was a good fight. Yeah, it was a solid fight.
You know what I mean? But Herbie, like it's so anticlimactic, Herbie, for these two guys to lay it on the line and then it just ends in a draw just because they weren't going to give it to Lamont unless he knocked them out. Like that's so cold. That's
cold.
Like, bro, watching that fight reminded me why I'm like, oh, this is why I don't watch this shit.
Bro. Yeah, facts, bro. Facts. All right, let me get to some of these real quick and then we're gonna move on, bro. JPS is in the building, man. You watching the UFC, man. I don't miss anything that involves Alex Pereira. Of course, I'm watching UFC 313. You fucking right. If Alex Pereira is so good, he doesn't know how to speak English, and it does not matter. He's still a star. You got to be a cold-ass motherfucker to pull that off, man. And don't need mercy for the refs to tell you the Cowboys are going to lose. It's forsaken, bro. It's preordained, dog. It's like, what is that little Harry Potter, the little zap thing on Harry Potter's head? That's what it is with the Cowboys, man, for sure, man. All right, man. Next topic, though, man. I got a couple topics I want to get into, man. So first thing first, man, talking Dolphins, man. Deebo Samuel trade in the fake Tyreek Hill market, man. So let's start with the Tyreek Hill aspect of it, because it's at the end of the day still a Dolphins podcast. When Deebo Samuel got traded, I seen a lot of Dolphin pages were talking about what does that mean for a hypothetical Tyreek Hill trade, and they were trying to compare what recent people have gone for and stuff like that, right? So, matter of fact, let me pull it up right now. Let's go ahead and switch over. And one of the things that I notice is that, man, this what's it called, the market is nasty, man. It's a cold world out here, my boy. It's a nasty world out here, dog. And this is what, in the past 12 months, people have gone for in the trades, right? Now, obviously, Tyreek Hill is going to go at minimum a second-round pick or a third-round pick. But this is what it's like right now. Like, for as much as the wide receiver market is booming, for as much as wide receivers are breaking the market, $30 million a year, T. Higgins is going to get $30 million on a franchise tag. There's a lot of movement and it's a lot of in the wide receiver market right now, dog. Like, think about this. Mike Williams for a fifth. That was a dud. DeAndre Hopkins, like, he's a Hall of Famer. He was one of my favorite players. Dominant. That dude had a piano on his back out there in Kansas City, bro. That dude is washed, man. Jerry Jeudy, surprisingly, was a 1,200-yard season, to my dismay. But that was a shocker. Up until then, he's been a disappointment. I wouldn't say bust, but a disappointment. Jonathan Mingo, I don't even know who that is. Devontae Adams, the man who keeps chasing white quarterbacks and keeps losing, bro. Jahan Dodson, Stephon Diggs, he got hurt, so we'll see. But was it his Achilles that he tore?
Something like that. Yeah, I know it was a lower extremity injury.
So I don't even know what to really make of the wide receiver market right now, dog. Like this is like and to bring it to a fake Tyreek Hill, it shows you it's not really even worth it to trade him. Like I know y'all could save money, but right now it's better to keep him. Like is
100%.
Tyreek Hill worth saving $15 million in the cap for what you're gonna receive?
Facts. You're speaking facts, bro. And here's the thing, Herbie. You could also consider this. At the end of the day, Tyreek Hill brings more value if you go into the season with him, and depending on how the season for the Dolphins goes, and depending on how seasons for other competing teams go, you'll be able to get more for him because there might be a team that feels like he's the missing piece, right? So it benefits you to kind of hang on to him. He's still one of the best weapons in football. He knows the system. You know, you could hope that he's healthier this year than he was previous season. And then you see what happens during the season, man. I think it's I think it's just at the end of the day, Herbie. I know Dolphins fans are disappointed with how the season went. I have not hid my feelings about that. But at the end of the day, you have Tyreek Hill on the team going into the season. He gives us, he's a part of the reason that gives us our best chance to win, right? Some people still haven't forgiven him for, walking off the field, and I feel him for that. You know what I mean? Just because to see a player on your team, especially one of the best players, someone who's supposed to be a leader, walk off the field, have people asking him like, damn, bro, you done? Like, that's embarrassing, Herbie. That's something that, the Dolphins, they're going to award their fans with experiences like that. You know what I'm saying? Not a playoff win, which I think we have the longest drought right now, but I'm not even going to get into that. But yeah, man, I think, trading Tyreek Hill right now, you look at what all these guys are going for. I mean, if at best we're going to get a 3rd round pick for Tyreek Herbie, it's just better to hold on to him. You know what I mean? That's just how I look at it.
I mean, it's crazy, bro. Like Tyreek Hill going for a 3rd round pick, bro. That's nasty.
That's just
that's nasty,
I'm sure you
bro.
could get more for him, but even then, it's just I don't know.
Damn, dog. So okay,
yeah.
So all right, let's flip this to the Debo side because I actually want to talk. I'm more interested in the Debo talk because like Tyreek Hill ain't going nowhere, so it'll be a waste of time to really have that conversation. But flipping it forward to the Debo side, right? And again, Washington Commander fans, NFC fans, Eagles fans, y'all accuse me of being a hater. I am. Fuck y'all. However, there's times where you can be critical without hating. What I am trying to say and what I'm about to say is this. Are the Washington Commanders substantially better with Deebo Samuel on their team? Yes or no? Was it necessary to add Deebo Samuel to this team? Yes or no? Will he actually be an addition to this team? Yes or no? I think no for all, because what happens when you have a team that is ahead of schedule, that they want to really be ahead of schedule, right? And they want to quickly add to things. They want to change stuff up. They want to acquire talent. But you have to showcase that talent. You have to force feed that talent. And you have to incorporate that talent. And that could possibly mess up the chemistry. You've seen it happen with the Houston Texans just this season. Mm-hmm. They traded for Stephon Diggs. They had this brand new look, and it wasn't as tight. And again, people got hurt, understandably. So you never got to see them at their full potential. But at any point in time, was Stephon Diggs a game changer? At any point in time. I think he had one good game where he had like 2 touchdowns. And my dumb ass was like, ooh, I'm going to bet on him next week. He ain't do shit for like 3 weeks straight.
Oh, man. Dear
so
Lord.
this idea for, to just add and add and add. Like, if it's a missing piece, that's one thing. Tyreek Hill was a missing piece for the Miami Dolphins. Tyreek Hill was necessary. He completely changed the math, changed the dynamics, changed the field instantaneously. What does Deebo Samuel do for the Washington Commanders? What does Stephon Diggs do for the Houston Texans? young teams that are way ahead of schedule want to be way ahead of schedule. Like, oh snap, we got our True Blazer in the building, man. Shout out to True Blazer, man. You already know we got to give a round of applause for True Blazer in the building, man. Hey, you already know. You already know, True. You already know we got something cooking up. But how do you feel about it? Because I've seen this to where people just get names versus getting people that can actually help. And I have the stats to back up why I'm down on the trade in a whole. I'll let you go ahead and get your 2 cents in, Rod.
Well, I think when it comes to Deebo Samuel, I think his name precedes him, right? He did have one like really great season with the Niners. But when you look at his career in totality, like I think what really made him popular, Herbie, was the play style, right? He was a very physical. He was a running back playing receiver, basically, Herbie. His physical, tough running style. And it's not like he was ever some awesome, great route runner. You know what I mean? He's playing in a system that's very wide receiver friendly. So you look at what he might bring to the Commanders, Herbie, and at the end of the day, they traded a fifth for him. I think he went for a 5th round pick, but is he going to completely change the dynamics of the Washington offense? I don't think so. He just gives them another weapon to add. But even then, Herbie, you could kind of see the wear and tear on him already because of his style of play, because of the way he likes to play. He's aging like a running back. So, what you're getting is not prime Deebo. What you're getting is what's left of Deebo Samuel, right? And with a quarterback like Jaden Daniels, at the end of the day, he's gonna get the best out of whatever he can from him. But the best of Deebo now, what is it? You know what I mean?
But okay, so this is why I say, like, in a rush to be ahead of schedule, right? Like, you chase names versus chasing talent. Deebo Samuel is a name. Deebo Samuel became a name, but because of the 2021 season when he had 1,700 yards from scrimmage, he had 14 touchdowns. But that's looking to be the outlier. He's only had over 1,000 yards from scrimmage twice in 6 seasons. That's it. What happens is, and we seen it with Brandon Ayuk last year, people have a season where they're supposed to be up for a contract, they play out of their minds, and they come back to reality. Deebo Samuels, and I'm going to give it to you, rookie season had 900 scrimmage yards. Second season, he got hurt. He only had 1,400. Third season is the breakout season. Had 1,700 scrimmage yards. Fourth season, 800. Fifth season, 1,100. This past season, 800. He's closer to being a 800 scrimmage yard guy than he is a 1,700 scrimmage yard guy. And y'all just traded for him. And y'all are going to try to feature him with your young quarterback. That's going to take away stats from Jahan Dotson. That's going to take away snaps from Terry McLaurin. That's going to force people to utilize him, and their name is not what's the head coach from the 49ers?
Kyle Shanahan.
So y'all are getting Kyle Shanahan player without Kyle Shanahan's offense. I bet. We'll see how that go, dog.
People forget, man, scheme is a big thing in football. Scheme is a huge thing in football. Huge.
Yeah, it's different when you're Deebo Samuel and you don't have George Kittle blocking, Brandon Ayuk clearing out space for you, Trent Williams going into all 3 levels, hitting the linebacker, hitting the safety, bro. It's going to be completely different. Now, we're going to see, and again, I'm not here to try to shit on Deebo Samuel. I think he's a good player, but I think he is largely overrated based off of the idea of who he used to be. This past season as a running back, when they used him as a running back, he averaged 3.2 yards per carry. He's 29. Like you said, he's closer to being a running back than he is a wide receiver. At his best, he was a weapon. At his best, he was a dominant physical specimen. But that play style, it adds up. You want to play like Earl Campbell at 6 foot, 215, more power to you, my dude. You want to run over 3 or 4 dudes to get into the end zone? More power to you, my dude. You're going to get a lot of hand claps. You're going to get a lot of, you did it, Deebo, you did it. But that zaps away your longevity. Eric Dickerson was lauded and laughed at because he always ran out of bounds. He got what he needed and he ran out of bounds. Look at Eric Dickerson now compared to all of his contemporaries at running back. He looks fine. He looks great for his age. Great. Because he wasn't taking unnecessary punishment. Deebo Samuel is 29 years old. You know what they call Deebo? They say Deebo got a BBL out there, man. Like
they don't say that, Herbie.
They say that, man. They say Deebo got a BBL because he came into the season chubby. He looked fat coming into the season. They say Deebo when he got a BBL. Deebo looked like he had a gorilla on his back trying to break to the outside this past season, bro. Like, he looked like he had a gorilla on his back dragging him while he was trying to break. 3.2 yards per an attempt. And again, we maybe I'm tripping. I'll just go by his rushing attempts. Rookie season, he averaged, let me see here, 11 yards per attempt his rookie season. Second year, 3.3. Third year, their breakout year, 6.2. The year after that, 5.5. The year after that, 6.1. This past season, BBL Deebo was at 3.2.
I can't get over that, man. I can't get over
they said that boy came back. They said that boy came to camp with a BBL, man. Not my words, man. Not my words. They say that contract he got went to work. They said Deebo went to work when he got that $25 million a year, man.
That's wild, man.
Went straight to Columbia, came back with a BBL, man. They call him BBL Deebo, man. But all I'm saying is, listen, man, this idea that we just have to celebrate every trade because it's a transaction, especially, again, we'll go back to it. We will go back to it. This is the list. Who is great from this list outside of Jerry Jeudy? Mike Williams was a dud. DeAndre Hopkins was a dud. It was a relative dud. Jonathan Mingo, dud. Devontae Adams he was balling, but now he's not even on the Jets no more. Jahan Dotson, Stephon Diggs, got hurt. The reality of the situation is they might, yes. John Paul said, not the brown paper bag beverage. Hey, man, we get it how you live, man. We from the streets, man. We from the streets, man.
Juice, man. That's pod juice right there.
Man, listen, man. We from the era with the original Four Loko before they reformulated, the one that'll fuck your stomach up, man. We come from that. We come from the trenches, man. So yeah, but again, I just do think it is very easy to get excited for trades, but we gotta think about the history of trades, especially if the 49ers are giving you up for a fifth round pick. They don't want you. They don't really care about you. And again, is it a low risk, high reward? To me, no. I think it's a low risk, lower reward. I just don't think trying to showcase a aging, not in his physical prime, Deebo Samuel might hurt what was a good situation over in Washington, which I would absolutely love as a tormented Cowboys fan. Fuck them. All right, man. Next topic. All right, next topic, man. This one, I wanted to have this conversation in regards to the combine, right? And the reason why I wanted to have the conversation about the combine is because I just got to ask this question, and we got people in the chat. I want y'all to answer. I really want to engage with you guys. I really want to have your input, but I'm going to pose this question to you, Rod. I'm going to pose this question to the chat, and I'm going to pose this question to the hundreds of people who watch our videos. Do y'all still care about the NFL Combine in 2025 and beyond? Genuinely asking. And I'm not even trying to be funny. I'm genuinely asking. And I'm asking as somebody who was a combine nut, who was a draft nut. Me, when it came to the combine, I did not miss the combine. I watched everything. I even watched the kickers, dog. Like, I was a zealot. Like, I watched the kickers, bro. Tuesday or whatever the last day is, I watched it when it was kickers and punters. I just thought all of it was cool. But maybe it's maybe it's time, maybe it's work, maybe it's me being a parent, maybe I don't have the same bandwidth to devote to it. I completely forgot it was happening. Like, I'm like, oh shit, the combine already happened? I didn't see a single second of it, right? And I know why part of it is for me, because it's not what it used to be. The stars are not performing. And I don't blame them, by the way. I don't want this to be on some, oh, back in my day, my Andrew Luck, he performed at the combine. Cam Newton, he wasn't afraid to compete. Like, I'm not doing that. I could really give a fuck. But I do think it kind of does matter. All of this stuff is star driven. All of this stuff is entertainment. So if the Cam Wards are not going to really throw, and the Shador Sanders are not going to throw, and the people that I'm aware of that I was paying attention to in college, or a Travis Hunter is not doing the drills, what am I coming for, right? Like, NFL teams don't even care about the combine the way they used to, bro. They had to force Kyle Shanahan to come this season. He hasn't been there the past 2 years. So the NFL teams don't feel the combine the way they used to. Then I looked at the ratings. The ratings are not even that good. It's the only thing that the NFL puts on that does not rate well. The average is like 329,000 viewers, which is shit for as far as the NFL is concerned. So who is this for? Like, it'll never stop. I'm not saying you feel me. I'm not saying, oh, we need to get rid of it. It's never going to stop. It makes the NFL too much money. It makes NFL Network too much money. Like, they make a $1.5 billion a year in regards to all of the things that they sell that's associated with NFL Network. So it's going to go on into perpetuity. The NFL will outlist the earth itself. The earth could explode and the NFL combine is still going to go on. So I am not even trying to make that argument. I'm not stupid. But I just want to know, who is it for? Rod, is this for you?
Herbie, if it's for anybody, it's not for me, bro. Because like you, and here's the thing, we do a football pod, right? And we love football, right? We love
it.
Watching film and shit like that. But Herbie, the combine for the past few years, Herbie, I just, there was a time like you. I wasn't as deep into the combine itself as much as you were. But there was a time that I felt some excitement for it this time of year. You know what I mean? And for me to just kind of just hop online one day and be like, oh, damn. The combine passed already? Like, Herbie, that speaks for itself. And I know I'm not alone, and you're not alone. And I'm sure there's, and JPS in the chat said, nah, like, he's not. You know what I mean? Like, we love football, but at the end of the day, like, the combine once upon a time was that nice showcase for the young talent coming out. And the funny thing is, they try to advertise it. They try to glamour it up. They try to make it bigger than it really is now. But ultimately, Herbie, it's I don't want to call it a dying product, because like you said, it's always going to be around. But I think most football fans kind of like, there are way more people, I think, who tune into the draft than there are people who tune into the combine. Like, there's just, the combine is nice, but at the end of the day, Herbie, it's information you could always, find. You could always go online and watch highlights. It's not something that you have to, you watch it at your own leisure. You don't feel the need to have to watch the combine unless you're just someone who's really into it like that. But Herbie, I like you, man. It just completely escaped my mind. Completely.
Hold on, man. Let me see right here, man. All right, so we got a couple comments. John says, nope, catch me when they score a TD in the NFL. That's where I'm at. And this is crazy. That was crazy where they had that. That was crazy. Jerry Jones out here just eyeballing the dicks, making sure like he was the dick. He was, what's the word I'm looking for? He was the dick keeper. He was like, all right, that's a good dick. That's a good dick. Yeah, we could pass. Nah, you fell. That dick is not where that was crazy. That was crazy, man. And then we got True Blazer, man. When they really started to air it, I was in the football junkie in me. Now, nope, didn't watch the second. I'm the same way. I'm the same way. Because a lot of people don't know the history of the combine and why the combine exists ultimately at a time is because back in the day, the NFL needed a place where they could centralize all of the potential draft picks so they could get their medical records. That's it. So you didn't have to spend money on jets or commercial or fly all of your scouts to all of these different universities all across America to get a player's medical records. How about we find a central location, everybody comes to us, we get all of the medicals, and that's it. And of course, the NFL being a business that it is, it turned that into a TV product. It turned the testing into a TV product. But this information is so readily available, none of these teams need it. You got in college football now chips in these dudes' pads that are telling you how fast they are going by mile per hour in a college game. I don't give a I don't care what you're doing at the 40 anymore. It doesn't mean anything anymore. It don't, bro. We've had this past combine the fastest times ever. Nobody even talk about it. We had multiple people going sub 4.3 when sub 4.3 or 4.3 was the pinnacle. If you ran a 4.3, it was talked about on First Take for a week. We had multiple people running 4.3. Nobody gives a fuck. We had multiple people run 4.2s. Nobody cares. So I understand that it is going to exist in the perpetuity. But to me, as somebody who truly loved it, if the stars are not going to participate, I have no reason to be engaged or intrigued. And I don't blame the stars for not participating because it ultimately doesn't serve them. You have 3 to 4 years, and now with this new influx of people going back to school because of NIL, you have people who have tape for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years of tape. I don't have to throw at the combine. I don't have to throw at Lucas Oil Field. If you can't see what I'm capable of with 7 years of tape, then don't fucking draft me. So I get it. But as a consumer, as a football junkie, it's just, I have no reason to watch it anymore. Nah, facts. The combine is just a bridge between the season and draft. Yeah, it is TV. Listen, it's giving us something to talk about. So it's doing its job. It is funneling the business of the NFL. Networking for coaching jobs and free agency. Absolutely. Deals are getting done. Deals are getting done at the one steakhouse that they have in Indianapolis, bruh. Like, I've been listening to podcasts. They've been explaining what the combine is. It's just it's a sausage fest for lowly reporters and beat writers and low level scouts, bro. It's just a giant sausage fest in Indianapolis, bro. That's what it is, dog. That's what it is, bro. All right. Let me see what else we got. All right, man. We don't have too much, man, but we could go ahead and split ball on this last topic before we get out of here, man. So, Rod, I got a couple topics. We don't have to spend too much time. We don't have a name for it. We'll come up with a name. So for now, we're just going to call it Around the NFL, man. So a couple of the topics I have are Jimmy Johnson retiring, some mock drafts, and some franchise tags. So we can start with the mock draft. We can start with the franchise tag, and then we could go a little bit on Jimmy Johnson because that's something he deserves, man. So franchise tags, T. Higgins, Trey Smith, they are franchise tags. If you wanted T. Higgins on your team, not happening. If you wanted Trey Smith, the offensive guard from the Kansas City Chiefs, ain't happening. They said no. Rod, I know we were talking about Trey Smith, so I know this has to feel like a gut punch, my boy.
Yes, sir. Gut punch. Yes, sir. I feel it. It hurts, but
what is the official beverage of the podcast, Rod? Let that man know what you got, dog.
Well, I tend to switch it up, but for tonight's episode, let's just say there was a virus named after this shit. All right? That's it.
I have no idea what you mean, so I'm not even going to pretend, bro.
COVID-19, Herbie. COVID-19. What do they call it? You know? What do they call it? The Rona? You know?
Wait, there's a beer called the coronavirus?
No, it's Herbie.
Oh, my bad. I'm stupid. I'm an idiot. My bad. I am slow. I am very slow. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so effing sorry, dog. Yeah, that was on me. That was crazy. That was bad. That was bad. All right. Hey, waking up at 3:30 every morning to do that to you, man. Your brain is fried. All right, man. Yeah, so back to Trey Smith, man. Gut punch, Rod. Gut punch, my boy. I know that had to be a gut punch, dog.
Yeah, man. But the free agency starts, pretty soon. So
Yeah, I mean, we
see
go
what
ahead.
happens, man. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
All right, man. Mock drafts, and then we have this. This is a roundup of all the mock drafts post NFL Combine mock drafts, man. So these are just a collection of different writers and the consensus. So I'll go by the writer and the player, and I'll get your opinion on each one, man. So this is USA Today. They have you taking Tyler Booker from Alabama. Yahoo Sports has you taking Malachi Starks from Georgia, the safety. Because of Javon Holland, that might be a need. The draft. Go ahead.
Can you put it up on your screen? Can you put it up?
Oh, my bad. My bad. Got you. There we go. Now we talking.
Yeah, there we go. All
right. Where are we at? Okay, boom. The Draft Network has you guys taking a tight end, Colston Loveland. Can we stop taking tight ends in the first round? Please stop this. Stop it. Don't ever mock a tight end to me in the first round. That shit is over with in 2025. Put that shit to bed, bro. All right. NFL.com has you guys taking Nick Emirani out of South Carolina. PFF has you guys taking Kelvin Banks Jr. CBS has you guys taking Tyler Booker. And then the 33rd team has you guys taking Jahad Campbell. Rod, what is a position of need? What is the most important position, and what do you want to see you guys draft out of the list of the guys that they potentially have you guys taking with all of these very wild, all over the place mocks? The only person that came up twice was Tyler Booker.
Well, here's the thing, Herbie. I'll be completely candid and honest, Herbie. I haven't started watching the film yet for any of these guys, Herbie. So
no. I don't need you to watch the film. I'm just asking by position, because they had you guys. There was two safeties. Well, safety, offensive lineman. That's what the NFL consensus says you need. There's no consensus on who it is. The only person that multiple players or multiple publications said that the Dolphins should target is Tyler Booker. So would you want you guys to take a guard, or would you want to address the defense for you if you were drafting?
Well, here's the thing, Herbie. I don't mean to like go around your question, but
no, you're good. You're good.
It would just depend on what we do in free agency, right? Like if we do happen to attack the interior line in free agency, then I would be perfectly fine going after a safety, because once Javon Holland leaves, that's going to be a severe position of need. So I'm perfectly fine with going safety in the first round. However, if let's say we address the secondary in the in free agency, we're gonna have to draft the offensive line, Herbie. You know what I mean? We're gonna have to draft for need at that point. I'd rather draft BPA, but if the Dolphins don't do it, they claim, Herbie, McDaniel, Greer, they claim that they're going to invest in the offensive line this season. I'm sure Dolphins fans are tired of hearing these guys say the same crap over and over again and trotting back out the same trash, Herbie, trotting back out Liam Eichenberg, trotting back out Robert Jones, Herbie, they got to make some changes, Herbie, and hopefully they address it in free agency. But Herbie, I'm not upset with with any of the decisions these guys, like with any of these picks, obviously, because one, I haven't got a chance to study these guys, and two, they're going after positions. Everybody knows we need these things, Herbie, which tells you everything. Like, the Dolphins the Dolphins are a team that, despite how much talent it felt we have a ton of holes. And in the first round, if you can get yourself a stud DB or a stud offensive lineman, why the hell not?
Nah, facts, man. Facts. All right, we can leave on there, man, and let's finish off with a conversation about Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson just retired from Fox, and it's interesting because Jimmy Johnson is one of the few times where there's a bridge between my fandom and your fandom. Obviously, he was infamous and mostly famous for being associated with the Dallas Cowboys, but he had a very, in hindsight, now that we have time to look at it, successful career with the Miami Dolphins based on the corner store players that he all was associated with drafting. Zach Thomas, Jason Taylor, Patrick Surtain, Sam Madison. The foundation of the 2000s Dolphins was from Jimmy Johnson, right? Like, and a lot of people don't know that, and it just speaks to what just a master genius identifier of talent that he was, and he was successful everywhere. He was successful at the University of Miami. He was successful and created the bridge and the foundation for a dynasty when he was with the Dallas Cowboys. And he successfully gave the foundation for the Miami Dolphins that I grew up with. A Zach Thomas.
The Dave Wannstedt Dolphins.
The Dave Wannstedt Dolphins. The Dave Wannstedt Dolphins could be associated with Jimmy Johnson because of his eye for talent, his ability to see what other people just don't see, his ability to see what somebody is actually capable of beyond what they even think is imaginable, right? Like Zach Thomas, if you listen to Zach Thomas is notorious for having imposter syndrome. He's a Hall of Fame linebacker who just is getting to the point now, recently, that he should even be in the Hall of Fame. Like, he never, ever thought he was going to be that good. And I listened to a bunch of radio shows down here. One of my favorite shows is the Dan Le Batard show, and they have a guy by the name of Greg Cody who works for the Sun Sentinel. He's a columnist, and he has a really decent relationship with Zach Thomas. And he said Zach just never truly believed that he was supposed to be in the NFL. Like, it always blew his mind. Jimmy Johnson saw that, right? Like, and it's just, I can't think of a better perfect football life. Like, the amount of people that he touched, the amount of people that he's been associated with, like his relationship with, I'm getting old, bruh. I'm getting so old, dog. What's the quarterback for the Steelers from the 70s that he's on Fox with? Terry Bradshaw. Sorry. My apologies. That's bad. Bad hurt. That's one of the GOATs. You got to remember that. But do you know that he recruited Terry Bradshaw to Louisiana Monroe in the 70s? He saw a Hall of Fame quarterback coming out of high school. He recognized it. He just always had a gift for recognizing talent, and it was special. And he was special. He was able to get guys like Michael Irvin to go to the University of Miami and create a dynasty and create one of the most cultured and revered college football dynasties of all time, the 80s Hurricanes. And then to come to the Cowboys and then to do it again in Miami, as far as not being ultimately successful, but just having the idea, the ability to stand on what he believes in, the ability to not give a fuck who you are, which is why him and Jerry Jones were beefing for years, because he's going to do it his own way. And a lot of the time, his way was right, man. So I know my Jimmy Johnson is a little bit different than yours. So I want to go ahead and let you get in. You feel me? Because it wasn't as peachy and rosy as far as when Jimmy Johnson was with the Dolphins. So what do you remember about Jimmy Johnson, Rod?
Well, I think the general consensus by most Dolphin fans on Jimmy Johnson, it was a pretty mixed bag, right? Because on one hand, like you alluded to, Jimmy Johnson had a great eye for talent, and especially for the defensive side of the ball when it came to the Dolphins. He essentially was the engineer behind those early 2000 Dolphins defenses, and a lot of that was him. Now, unfortunately, Herbie, even though Jimmy Johnson, he led the Dolphins to the playoffs, 3 times during his tenure, we were never able to really become a true contender, and a lot of that was because him and Dan Marino did not have a good relationship
at all.
Like, they couldn't stand each other, right? And it's sad, Herbie. I wish we could have lived in a world where, there could have been a compromise between Marino and Jimmy Johnson, because maybe, just maybe, we might have gotten to see maybe one of the best Dolphins teams of our lifetime. Obviously, Marino wasn't quite the same ever since he had suffered that Achilles injury. So, we were also, there was also that going for him. And mind you, Herbie, Jimmy Johnson's tenure with the Dolphins ends ends with a 62-7 loss in the playoffs to the Jacksonville Jags,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, that is the last memory Dolphin fans have of Jimmy Johnson as the head coach. So, obviously, all flowers to him. His career, the things he accomplished in both college and in the NFL, they speak for themselves. And he is going to go down as one of the greatest coaches of all time, as well as, he was also a pretty damn good analyst. I like listening to him. I thought he was funny. So when it comes to Dolphin fans, though, I don't think Dolphin fans. Well, you know what, Herbie? I will say, like, just when I think about it now, when I speak to certain Dolphin fans who are of older generations who really got to live through it. I was real young when he was the coach for us. 62-7 is one of my earliest memories as a fan. I don't know why I stuck it out, Herbie. I should have known then. I should have let this ship go. But that's neither here nor there, man. That's neither here nor there. At the end of the day, Herbie, there are Dolphin fans who are mad at Marino for never really complying with him, for never really trying to buy into his vision, right? And that's the thing, Herbie, when you have a guy like Jimmy Johnson, a guy like that, his magic only works if everybody buys in. One of the greatest things about the Patriots dynasty when it came to Belichick and Tom Brady, obviously, was Brady, but part of what made the Patriots work was everybody buying in large part because Tom Brady believed in Belichick, right? So at the end of the day, had Marino believed in Jimmy Johnson, if he was able to kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Here's the thing: Marino was spoiled, right? Shula let Marino get away with murder, man. Like, he let Dan Marino drop back and throw the ball. We didn't have running backs for years, right? But it would have been nice to see Marino and Jimmy Johnson kind of find some commonplace, because maybe the Dolphins could have done something with the remaining time that Marino had, instead of just going out about as sad as you could possibly go out for a player and a coach.
It's funny because the irony of y'all getting shellacked by the Jacksonville Jaguars is he actually wanted to go to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and Jerry Jones caught wind, and that's where the infamous any head coach could win with the Dallas Cowboys. And Jerry was proven right because they won a championship with Barry Switzer, but we're not going to talk about that, dog. We don't. It was still one of the dumbest things, bro. Jerry's ego broke up a fucking dynasty, man. But again, the reason why, in my opinion, I just think he had a perfect football life is he is in two different Hall of Fames. He's in the College Football Hall of Fame. He's in the NFL Football Hall of Fame. And you can make the argument that he's going to go in the Broadcasting Hall of Fame. There is 4 different generations of people who have a completely different relationship with Jimmy Johnson. You have the relationship that he built and cultivated in the 70s when he was an assistant coach, when he was with Louisiana, and he was with Arkansas. And then you have the people who identify with him with the 80s Hurricanes, and people would be like, yeah, I get him. I know he was with the Cowboys, but the Jimmy Johnson that I love, he was with the Hurricanes. And then you obviously have the people who have him as the Cowboys, the architect of the Cowboys dynasty. So you have that fan base. And then you have the past 20 years of people who just know him as the old guy that was on Fox broadcast. Like, that's how I knew him. Again, I'm a Cowboys fan. I was not really present for the early 90s Cowboys. I don't know Jimmy Johnson that way. The Jimmy Johnson I know is the guy that was was shooting the shit with Terry Bradshaw, James Brown, and whoever else, and Howie Long. That's my relationship. So for him to transcend so many different generations and to mean a lot to people from the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and the 20s, the 2000s, and the 2010s, I can't think of a better football life, bro. Like, that's pretty crazy. That is pretty nuts.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. Man.
That is pretty nuts, man. All right, man. And that is going to be it for this week. I want to start doing like some type of mailbags, bro. So we are going to create an email specifically for Fin Out of Water. We want you guys to hit us up, or you could DM us on IG or TikTok if you have any things that you have, any topics that you guys have or you guys want to talk. Send it to us, man. This is a community. We want to grow the community. We want you guys to be a part of it as well, man. So Anything that you want to say before we get up out of here for this episode, Rob, man?
Listen, man, I'm always grateful to be able to do this, man. I was a little tired tonight. I ain't gonna hold you, man. Like right after this, I'm gonna edit and pass out, man. But listen,
for sure.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate JPS, True Blazer, everybody who always tunes in, all the people
absolutely,
who support
man. Absolutely,
outside of here, man. I'm really grateful for y'all, man. I'm thankful, man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And man, I am obviously grateful for everybody, man. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for everybody that we could do this with, man. I'm grateful for the diehards, bro. When we get rich, we not gonna forget about y'all, man. Believe that, man. True Blazer, JP, everybody that show love, man. See y'all next week. Deuces.
Deuces.